I've been meaning to make this video for a while, which is literally just I talk about random stuff while working on whatever it may be, in this case a map. Um, which is not the important part. The important part is me talking, because there is stuff that I want to talk about. Not like I make this sound like something serious, but it's really not. It's just that I don't get to talk to the viewer directly, all that much. So I wanted a chance to actually finally do that for once. I just want to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for watching the videos, obviously. Um, again, obviously, I could do this without the viewers. YouTube doesn't work without people watching. Thank you to anyone who's ever played an event, subscribed to the channel, bought the Patreon, made a tank, joined Discord, whatever, everyone. Again, obviously, I don't get to do this stuff without the community, actually being a bigger part of it than I am, really. So just, thank you for existing and all the support close to 20K. I had this kind of arbitrary goal to hit 20K before the end of the year, so it's just over a month left to do that. So I think it's possible, but we'll see. Trying to really lock in for this last month. And then maybe I'll take a break after the new year, but we'll see how that goes. Speaking of which, I have been thinking about switching to doing a big event that is every 2 weeks instead of every week. Because I can keep up with the 1 a week pace. But sometimes the events can get a little bit sloppy. In particular with the map, just because it takes so long. So I think 2 week is probably more sustainable. Although that being said, I know again I have been doing this already for well over a year now at this point. Um, so I guess it can work. But if it doesn't, if the events aren't noticeably better, and there's no point, then obviously just switch back to doing once a week. There's no problem there really. So I'll probably switch to that after New Year's, and then we'll see how that goes. Another thing I want to talk about is just um, kind of how surreal this still is to me, and how kind of out of my league I guess I am with this. The entire operation. I was never, intending for it to get this big. Certainly never expecting it to. Although I kind of had the notion in the back of my mind that like if I just stick with it, then it will eventually get somewhere. But now that I think this was actually this big. It's still kind of surprising to me because you have to know this is the first time I've ever done anything remotely this big. This is the first time. This is the first Discord server that I own even, right? Like I have no idea what I'm doing. I am still, well, I don't want to say I'm still um the the 20 person Discord guy. I have no clue what I'm doing. Although obviously I have kind of figured out what I'm doing, kind of got my shit together. Um but there are still some things that I'm absolutely clueless at. Or at least it feels like I am, even if I don't know, there's things that tell me I'm not. Specifically the YouTube. It feels like every other channel I watch knows exactly what they're doing, and I just completely do not. I have some idea of how to uh, you know, appeal to the algorithm. Um, but it feels like everybody else knows what they're doing 10 times more than I do. And even like smaller channels are, putting up super high quality videos that are doing really well, or even doing bad, but should be doing better. It feels like there's a little bit of imposter syndrome that comes with that, which is like, you know, it kind of feels like in some ways that I'm barely putting any effort in, and yet I'm still doing better than these guys, and just as good as these guys who should be doing better than I am. And it's kind of, I don't know. I don't intend for this video to get like, uh, all sad and gloomy. I just wanted to give you an update on kind of what's going on, kind of my thoughts about everything. Kind of what stuff I have planned. Certainly something like a best of Tank Tussle 2024 is in order. I'm already thinking up how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna format that. You know, other than that, there are some things that I just wanted to just say out loud and just put out there just because I've had these thoughts for a long time. Um, I'm not even like looking for a response or anything. I just want to be able to say it somewhere. Um, so I wanted to mention like I think it's kind of strange, honestly. If you don't know, the CompK system, the competent kid system, is that actually what it's called? I think it's actually called um it's called Certificate of Competency, which is a role in Discord, and the channel is called Competent Kids, and you just get access to that channel, and it's like that's just such a strange system. Originally, I intended it to be much more open than its current form. I intended it to be just like literally anyone who maybe has a mic and is just not an absolute complete moron gets that role. Um, but now it's kind of turned into this kind of I don't like using this word, but like kind of almost elitist status, which I think is really strange. I think it's fine for the most part. There are times which it becomes troublesome, but for the most part it's pretty much harmless. It's just a smaller group of people who are a little bit more dedicated to the game maybe and know they're doing a bit more. But even then, it's still such a strange thing to have in a Discord. If you really sit back and think about it, like who does this? It's just really weird to have roles. It's not strange to have like private channels, of course, um, but to have them for like on a competency basis is just kind of strange. And they also have like a bit of leverage over the server, just in the sense that they can like lobby me and stuff. Not like it's not like mob rule, but just it's just weird. I'm sure they're all gonna get a kick out of watching this, giggling and whatever about it, whatever. But I forgot to mention this earlier. I wanted to mention them specifically, and then I forgot. Which is thank you to the mod devs, of course, for making this whole thing possible. Obviously, I don't know who devs create, but um, I feel like I should know their name, but I don't. The main ones are like Richie, of course, my goat, Richie Blackmore's MOI for CBC. One of the more pivotal mods in this whole thing. Rifty, of course, for CBC Modern Warfare, which is a little more like upper level. One of the mods, not as crucial, but still very important. Of course, Endel. Really, this whole thing would not exist without Endel, frankly. Kind of a bit of an unsung hero, at least within the general public eye. The CompKs know who he is, but I think a lot of people don't really internalize that he made track work, and we just kind of take it for granted. But yeah, track work seems kind of very important to Tank Tussle. But even other than that, Tally Ho, people don't realize how important Tally Ho is, the mod. You've probably seen it, gotten an update once, and be like, I don't know what this is for. You've seen maybe it adds like gun mounts or whatever. But other than that, you have no idea what it does. But it is, I assure you, very crucial to the whole thing. You could play without it. You could. It would work. You could make tanks. And they would, pretty much function at like 90%. But all of the tiny little things would just spring up out of nowhere and piss you off, and you'd be like, why is that happening? And the reason it's happening is because you don't have Tally Ho. So that is Tally Ho. That is Endel's doing. It's basically like all the cool stuff that you see, and you're like, dang, like, how did we get this? Well, that's Endel. It's like the scope, you're like, what is this from? It's Tally Ho. The missiles and bombs, the GBUs and stuff, you're like, what is that? That's Tally Ho, you know? And then again, that's just the stuff you see. There's also plenty of what is it called? Back end stuff. Just like fixing. I remember one of the first things he did, the point of Tally-Ho, I think this was the original purpose of Tally-Ho, was to remove the create um tally system. It's called, I think, where it's like if something gets updated too many times in a second, then it'll just break. So for example, if I can remember to unblur this part, like if you have this resistor with the lever on it and you're doing this, then it'll just break. Or if you're, say you have a gear shift with the link on it and you're reversing and going back and forth a lot, then it'll just break because it's getting updated too much. Which is kind of crazy. And I think Tweak Controllers also fixes that. But that was one of the first things that the Endo did, was fix that, so we can actually have functioning tanks without them breaking every 2 seconds whenever you are remotely not gentle with them. I did also want to talk about my experience just personally with Tank Tussle, with kind of bringing it up, so to speak. The whole thing, even if it is a bit selfish, frankly. Just because I don't get to talk about this stuff a lot. So this is like the one video that I'll do for probably the next 6 months, where I just talk directly. And frankly, for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. Getting to this point, there have been some issues with, stuff like, the video's not doing well or whatever. Less people are showing up to the events. And there were times when I very briefly considered, like giving up and just not doing anymore. And at one point, I did kind of half commit to like, kind of almost silent quitting, Tank Tussle, if you know what that means. So just like, kind of doing the bare minimum, but like not putting in like too much effort into it. But then I think literally the next event I joined after, I was like, this will be the last event I pull full effort in, and then I might start doing, events less frequently or whatever it is. I joined that event, and then I had just the absolute best time. I don't remember which event it was. I think it would have been probably mid to early season 2. And then I decided, no, I can't quit in this community like that. When everyone's kind of counting on me. But now I have no qualms about being fully committed to Tank Tussle. I am with it, ride or die. It's probably the best time it's ever been to be a Tank Tussle player, really. Tank Tussle 3 is finally getting to what I would call, it's nice and mature stage. Although that it was mature, frankly, like maybe a month ago, but everything's fully fleshed out. Everything's working for the most part. There's some stuff like medium cannon auto loading or whatever, but that's like easily fixed. It's not that deep. We got the Ruby host partnership, which is really nice. Big thank you to them, of course. I told Copkid a story, but I'll tell it now. This is an interesting one. But basically, I get a lot of DMs, right? Just, from random people asking, hey, how does this work? How do I install the mod pack? How do I do this? How do I do that? Like, what is this mod? Whatever. So for the most part, I ignore them. I ignore a lot of them. Unless it's something like, really simple, or I'm just feeling nice. So Rad, which is one of the Ruby host people, he reaches out to me, he shoots me a DM, and he's like, I don't remember what he said exactly. I'll actually just check right now. It took me a while to find him because I forgot he's Lux now, he's not Red. But Lux, as it were. His first DM is hi, and then, whatever. And then he says, mind if I shoot in here to ask some questions? Which is like, whatever, I'll hear this guy out. And then I said, sure. And he says, what kind of wild question can we VC? And then I go, normally to this, I say no, because it's like some child, like some literal 12-year-old child, asking, can we collab? And it's like they have like 30 subscribers for their Roblox channel. And it's like, no, like, just go away. If you're not going to be serious about it, then, whatever. But I look at this guy's profile, and he says, what does it say? COO Ruby host, discord.com/Ruby host. And I'm like, okay, it's, whatever, another little basement company doing whatever it is. But the word host is kind of indicative of their nature. And so I click on the website and it's server hosting, and I go, okay, maybe there's a one in a billion, probably not 1 in a billion, but a low chance that he has to partner, which would be great. Um, that would be perfectly fine with me. I'd be pretty happy too. And lo and behold, that's exactly what he's here for. And so I go, yeah, of course we can do that. That's great. And he has like good terms. It's just like free server and then one, ad read per video, which I'm perfectly fine with. Frankly, I don't know if I should be saying this, but it kind of feels like they got shafted on this deal. But if they're happy with it, then I'm happy with it. And I guess it does kind of make sense for them. Um, the amount of outreach that I'm putting out, just from talking about it in my videos, is probably more than they could really buy with the whatever they're spending on that CPU for the server. So I guess in some ways it does actually really make a lot of sense to them, financially. But that's how I met Rad or Lux. I'm still gonna call him Rad because that's how I know him. So that has been great, of course. Big shout out to them for, you know, first of all, having the balls to do what they do, which is running a hosting company, but small one, ground up, everything done super professionally. Like this video isn't even sponsored, you know that. This is on going second channel for fuck's sake. So nothing is sponsored. I'm just glazing here. I seriously respect them for doing everything, just right, correctly from the ground up, having the balls to pull their pants up and actually do what other people sometimes talk about, which is run a business. They have a really nice website. They're doing everything the right way, and I really respect that. You know, so that's great. I love what they're doing, of course. And then also kind of related, sponsorship, partnership, collab, shawls. That was kind of crazy. Season two, kind of the peak of season two, I would say, was kind of marked by that shawls collab, which was pretty crazy. Although it did kind of burn the channel a little bit, which I'll explain in just a second. But that was pretty insane. I was, he was in the server for a little bit before that, and people like noticed he was there or whatever. I was like, whatever. He's just here to check it out. I get it. You do create stuff. You see create stuff. You go and you check it out. That's what you do. So I was surprised when he reached out to me, and he was like, I gotta go find the DM now. I'm just leaking everything, but it's like, it's fine. He said, no, I said something first because he sent me a friend request. He takes forever to respond to anything. I'll air him out on that one. Respond, probably busy guy, whatever. He has an actual life, unlike me. Posts a video every 6 months, but so I can't really blame him. But he has me as a friend, and then I add him back, and he doesn't say anything for a little bit. So I said, "Yo, assuming you have something to talk about, because why else would you add?" And he says, "I've been thinking about making a tank build battle for a while now. Saw some of your videos, and your builds are insane. Blah blah. Would you be interested in joining in? Me and my friend. I don't know who his friend is at this point. It turns out to be Theo, which is also fucking crazy because Theo is another big name. He says they want to do a 2v1 against me, and I'm like, sure, whatever, blah blah blah. Talking, do the video, that's awesome. But just crazy stuff. However you think about it, um, honestly, just baffled that actually, went as well as it did. Went a little too well. That video of his, mine now is like 70, 80,000 ish, maybe. I haven't checked in a while, but like 78,000. If I had to guess, probably 70 and change. His video on that now has where is it? 641K. So it's one of his a little bit above average, which is like 470, 520K ish. So a little bit above average. Um, and then he linked. This is what maybe I should have talked to him about this, but he linked my channel in the description instead of the video. And his video did come out after mine, so he definitely could have linked the video. But oh, it's 75K in mine, yeah. But he linked my channel, and the problem with that is that instead of watching my videos, people just click on it and then they click subscribe. Um, and so that some of the views go to my video, of course. But a disproportionate amount. This is the important thing. A disproportionate amount goes into just straight subscribers for my channel, which sounds like a good thing, right? Subscribers, good thing, right? Who doesn't want them? But the thing is that YouTube sees that. Or no, the thing is that YouTube doesn't see that. They just see I have more subscribers. My videos are doing worse than usual because fewer subscribers are actually clicking on them because these subscribers aren't actually interested in my videos. At least part of them. They just subscribed from Michelle's. And so YouTube doesn't like that. They see few people are clicking, and so they dock the video even further. And so for period after that, all the videos were doing kind of a little bit under average, which kind of sucked. I didn't think it would be much of an issue, just from how many people are going to watch Shell's video, how many people are going to click on the link, how many people are going to actually subscribe. Probably can't be that many, but it was quite a bit. And so yeah, that kind of boned me a little bit there. And there were some good videos in there that should have done better, if you ask me, and then they didn't because of that. So that really kind of sucked. Obviously, no hard feelings for Shells, of course. If he wants to run it back, I'm free anytime. I'll fuck him up again. But, just whatever. Also, this one's not even. Maybe I shouldn't say this. No, I will say this because it was kind of almost public-ish. But Redunes, I was talking to Redunes. He messaged me first again, of course. I have no idea why, but I just keep punching above my weight class, apparently. I guess because what I do is like interesting, and new, so people want in on it or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm glazing myself. Maybe it's really not that deep, but whatever. I'm talking to Redunes. I thought he wanted to collab at first, and I was literally gonna say like, sure, but don't like mention me in the video because of the shells thing. But he just wanted to talk about like running an event, like a Milsim event, which was like that was cool. And so we talked about that. And then I also invited him, kind of informally, to one of the events. I believe it was the USA Taiwan or USA China one set in Taiwan. And I was like, yo, I think this one would be right up your alley. You might want to join this one. He was like, yeah, sure. He joined, and the event was like kind of mid, so I feel a little bit guilty about that because I dragged him. I didn't drag him, but he I don't know if he's just being polite or what. But he said he had fun, and I was like, okay, but I don't know, whatever. I keep remembering people to thank, just while sitting here, and that is Vic of Vic's Point Blank, which was kind of the big update. From TT2 to TT3. I should want to talk about that in a second, but Big Point Blank, the gun mod, obviously, really nice stuff. Fucking love that guy. I want to thank him for making the mod, of course, also for putting up with me because I've been kind of annoying in the server. Kind of been a bit unruly at one point. So I want to apologize about that. Also. But it's just such a big step up from CGM and small arms, no matter how you slice it. And it is a more effort for me to add the guns and stuff, but I really don't mind because it's so cool. Oh, this isn't I did latest update. So we're missing the MG3, but just such cool stuff, honestly. Want to thank him for that, and also Above Marine, who does SAB. Why did I look it up like it was gonna come up? All the steel armor for the mod. Want to thank him, even though he was kind of combative to me. I joined a I don't know what to call it. They call it Tank Tussle CIS, whatever that stands for. Which is like a server mostly Russian speaking. And for some reason, Above Marine was kind of getting a little bit I don't want to say like aggressive because that's not the right word, but like a little bit combative towards me for honestly I have no idea why. But he was saying like, oh, you're violating the license by redistributing the mod. And I'm like, no, like you uploaded this to CurseForge, people are downloading it off CurseForge, you know, you have it under um what was it, academic free license 3.0 it was, which is like one of the most you know free unrestricted licenses out there. Like, what are you talking about? And he's saying like, oh, I'll change the license, I'll fucking, this is what you're doing is illegal. And I'm like, that's not how that works. First of all, you can change the license, but it only applies to future versions. I still have the right to distribute the version I already own, in which the license has not changed yet. I have no idea what that was about, but he does good stuff for the most part, even though SAB is frankly a little bit on the lower quality end of things. There's a bit of more than a bit of inconsistency, but again, one of the more kind of unnoticed mods that just flies under the radar. People take it for granted, but yeah, um, probably very very annoying to have to manage all of this stuff. So for every color, you have normal, you got double, you got hard, and then you have slab stairs and vertical slabs. Also, I just thought of Void Hub. If you didn't know, until RubyHost, we were kind of just literally just leeching off of Void Hub server. The story with that is early. Oh well, I think it was literally early season 1 actually. They reached out and they were like, well, it was just Agent Penguin C reached out and he was like, yo, do you want to make this a thing on Void Hub? No, we got 1,000 people on the server when TikTok's only had like 10. I don't even know if we had a Discord at that point. They were like, you get a bunch of players with this. They literally had like an application system to make tanks to play because thought they were gonna get fucking 200 applicants like their usual events. And then they didn't. It was like, I think under a dozen applicants total. So that was kind of silly. So that's why we had their server, because the idea was that, we'll give you the players in the server, but then of course you're advertising hard for the community. So after that, we never ended up doing anything really with Void Hub, but we still just used the server because I was like, I have it, like why not? It's better than Essentials, which is what we were using before. So I used that for a while, well, a long while really, just leeching off of them. So I really want to thank him for that. And even like, I felt so bad. I felt so incredibly bad, but for like asking for like help, the server panel would whatever do this thing. I'd be like, how do I fix this? And they're like, and Overvoid, probably Overvoid, maybe Trillium, whoever it was, would help me. And I was like, thank you. And I never had anything to give them in return. Despite, I gave them like, probably exactly like 2 members off of the advertising at that point. And then later, recently-ish, it would have been for Civ 3. Yeah, I made a video on that. I'll link it in the video description if I can remember. Civ 3, I made a video, and so that got them, I think like 500 members, if I'm remembering correctly. They got a bunch of members from that. I think it was that one, and then a bunch more. So that was just from the announcement. It was like 500-ish, if I'm remembering. That was the one, and then a bunch more from the video, which linked their channel, or not their channel, but their Discord. But is it even? Probably not. I would not say it's a fair deal. If I was them, I would not take that deal if they could take it back. So you know, I kind of just farmed them for a while, and I feel bad about it. Like I seriously like feel bad for doing it. Um, so if they ever need anything from me, you know, ring me up. I got you. You want me to make another announcement anytime, literally anytime. I got you. Even their latest one, which was like Operation Witherstorm, they called it, and it was like some kind of I didn't play in it. I'll talk about that in a second, but it was like supposed to be some kind of like milsim ish adjacent event with taxi um, and immersive vehicles as it was. And so I was like, oh, this would be like, you know, kind of close to TT even. They might have gotten the idea from TT. I don't know. I won't even delve into that. But so I reached out and I was like, hey, you want me to advertise this in Tank Dust? And they're like, yeah, of course, you know, please do. And then so I did, and got them a couple more members. Um, but still, I would not say that we're even. So if they ever need anything from me, you know who to call. But about that event, I was going to play in it. It's like, oh, this could be interesting. You know, it could be a little fresh. From Take Dust Solo, something a little different. So let's see how this goes. And then the first of all, the event got delayed by a week. So I was going to check out the mod pack on Thursday or whatever when the event's on Saturday. It got delayed, and so I didn't touch the mod pack that week. So next week Thursday, probably, maybe whatever day, I actually opened up the mod pack for the first time after like 2 weeks or so, and I look, and it's on. First of all, it's on 1.16.5, which is fine, whatever. That's a little old, but it's using taxi. We'd been on VPB on TT3 for a while now, so I was like, that's kind of sucks. But what are you gonna do? I personally think taxi is worse than VPB. You can go fight in the comments, but I don't give a shit because I'm right. And then immersive vehicles, which was the other like big part of the event, was kind of it wasn't great in my opinion. I didn't play around with it too much, but it was just like this is not good. This is not an event I want to play in, and so I just didn't. I cut out. I have no idea how it went. Presumably, not that bad. Um, they usually do good events, but to me at least, it kind of felt like they might have shit the bed a little bit on this one specifically. Um, but the one event I did play in, which was Civ 3, was great. I had a good time. Even if it was a little bit like it was like laggy at times, whatever. But just that's gonna happen. What are you gonna do? That event though, no, hang on though, because that event that got pushed back and I didn't play in that week, which turned into 2 weeks. I instead of planning for and prepping and me making a map for a tank tussle event, there was no event because the Void Hop event was replacing it. And so what I did was I took my local server, my little server, which is pretty bad and it couldn't run tank tussle. And so I repurposed it and I made I really wouldn't even call it an SMP, but it was like a kind of SMP, I guess. But it was only intended to run that 1 week or 2 weeks. And so I made the mod pack based on just exploration, looting. So it was like all the dungeon mods, all the looting mods, all the bosses and stuff. And so I had a really good time on that. That was probably, I to put it bluntly, that might have been the best 2 weeks of the last God knows how long. After slaving away on Tank Tussle for it would have been very nearly a year, if not a year at that point. Just a year straight, I got to take a break for the first time in God, probably 6 months, if not more. Probably close to 8 months. I remember I had. a week off, and just play survival Minecraft with my friends, and so that was great. Of course, not that there's anything wrong with Tank Tussle. I love doing this stuff. I do enjoy prepping. I look forward to coming home from school or whatever it may be, and sitting down and making tanks and making a map. I do seriously enjoy it, but it does get a bit monotonous. It does get a bit lonely at times. And so I seriously really enjoyed the SMP, and people that played on it really enjoyed it too. But yeah, that was great. I love that. I do want to speak to that a bit, um, which is that Tank Tussle has. I just tried to spell tank in my command because I was talking about it. Tank Tussle has kind of, again, to put it bluntly, kind of taken over my life a little bit. I don't do too much else other than Tank Tussle. That is how it is. I come from school and I do my homework, whatever it is. Um, and then I sit down and I do Tank Tussle, making tanks, making maps, whatever, for pretty much the rest of the day usually. And then of course, I'm take care of myself. I take breaks and all that. But so when I have a week off, like I was originally intending to take this week off. Actually, this map should not exist. I should not be working on anything right now. Because I am off school for Thanksgiving break, and so I was gonna do a little slop event. You might have seen it. It was gonna be basically a rerun of last event. And take the opportunity to test some stuff. But I realized that I unfortunately don't know what to do with my life if there was no Tank Tussle, and that sounds awful, right? And it kind of is. That's weird. Maybe that's not healthy, but this is kind of almost my work. In many ways, I like to joke about this being my job. I clock in and I clock out, and then I join the Discord call with all my friends are, and they ask me how was Tank Tussle. You know, like you're coming home from work and your wife asks, how was work. Um, so maybe that's not healthy. You can be the judge of me, but I won't care because I do love it. I want to talk about that a little bit too, which is like, why do I do this? What do I do this for? Do I do this for the money? Do I do this for myself? Do I just enjoy playing Tank Tussle that much that I would upkeep this whole thing just to play it once a week? And the answer is no. I do it for the people. As corny as that is, and as untruthful as that may sound to you, I do. I do this because I love seeing. I want other people to have fun with it. And I love what I do, what I'm making, and I want people to experience it. And that's just the truth. The money was never a consideration when I started. Obviously, I had no intention of it getting near this big, of course. Um, it really was just for the love of the game, and it still is, although it has evolved in many ways. If you were to ask me, like, you replace every single Tank Tussle player, every single person in the community with an AI that behaves exactly like a human, and it does exactly what I personally would wish they would do. They LARP a bit and whatever. They're better at the game, and the videos turn out better maybe, because of them, whatever it is. Would you still do it? And I would say no. I don't want that. I think that would be interesting one time, and then I would realize, no, hang on, nobody's having fun in this. Because yes, I do have fun in events, of course, obviously. But frankly, there are better ways that I could be spending my time other than doing this. And so if the other people were not part of this, if they were not here to enjoy this, then I would not do it. And I think that is the end goal that a lot of people, not a lot of people, because nobody else does this, but some people, even stuff like this might be a stretch, but like, everything is for the people, for the community. And so stuff like this was an issue at one point. I won't name names, but moderation it was like, should we ban this person or should we keep them around? You know, they haven't technically done anything wrong. And it's like I made that decision, as did some other people, although they probably didn't have the same reasoning as I did. I know they didn't have the same reasoning as I did. But it was like, ultimately, why do the rules exist? The rules exist to have a functioning and respectful community, you know? And if this person is not conducive to that, then I don't care if they've broken the rules or not, technically speaking. You know, whatever. Oh, this one, you know, they haven't broken this one. They haven't done this, technically, whatever. If they don't improve the community, then I don't want them here and I'm gonna ban them. And that's it. Um, and some of you are probably asking, like, you know, if it's just for people, then why do you do YouTube? Why do you do Patreon? Why do you do this stuff? Couldn't it just be the Discord and you just have people play and that's it? And I have my reasons. First of all, the YouTube feeds the Discord, the community games, which in turn feed the YouTube. You have to realize that if there was no YouTube, there would be no games because nobody would join. Um, you know, nobody would know about it if there wasn't YouTube. People find the server through the videos, and that is it. That's the whole thing. And so the better that the videos do, the better more people that join, the better the events are for the most part. Um, Although at the same time, of course, again, it is ultimately everything is for the players. So I would never do an event, and I haven't, and I won't do an event that is just for the video. At least not like, you know, a main event. I'll do solo videos where I play this tank or that tank, and that's just for the YouTube, of course. That's just for kicks. But even that is strategically done to gain interest in the tanking itself. Because I think a lot of the newer videos, especially in Tank Tussle 3, have become more centered around the gunplay and the milsim aspect. You know, the gunfights than anything else. And I really wanted to rein it in and bring it back to its roots, which is building, not just using, not just driving around, but actually building and tanks and coming up with, you know, interesting designs and piloting them against other people's designs. And I think we've lost some of that. The one caveat though is if I can improve the video somehow, whatever it may be, without damaging the player experience, the in-game experience, then I will do it in a heartbeat because, you know, it costs quote unquote nothing to do. So for example, if I can, you know, cheat and give myself, you know, this gun or whatever, or I can teleport here into the action, and that makes the video better because I have better footage, you know, or more footage as it were, and you know, if as long as I'm not, you know, actively damaging anyone's player experience, you know, specifically, then I think it's fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. And so I will admit, yes, sometimes, especially in this is the most recent example and probably one of the better examples is um I don't know at this point, but but one of the more recent videos simulating a nuclear winter in Minecraft, I would go into spectator, I would look at Zero's minimap because I had a thing to make it so I can see entity radar in the wall in spectator, and I would go and see where people are, where they are, you know, and I would teleport kind of close to them or, you know, in their path so we would meet and then we could have a gunfight, or otherwise, you know, encounter or just be part of the action if there was already a gunfight, whatever it is. Um, and I would never teleport like so close that I would, you know, have the jump on them. It was always far enough away that they would already be like repositioned, and I wouldn't have too clear an image of where they were by the time we actually met. So I tried not to give myself, like, you know, an advantage in that sense. But I did have the advantage of like expecting them, and I still lost most of those gunfights anyway. So, you know, whatever. But we don't talk about that. And people will complain about that, but I don't see anything wrong with that. For the most part, you know, I didn't cheat. I'll say this from the bottom of my heart. I swear to God, I did not cheat in any iron, any guns, any gear, anything like that. The whole event. Seriously, whether you believe it or not, it's true. I didn't. I got all my stuff from looting because I wanted the actual looting experience. I want to see how it was like to actually play the game. because that's the only way you can improve. If I fool myself by saying, I'm getting frustrated, I want to cheat in guns, whatever, that's not authentic, and so I didn't. Um, but the basis of this conversation was, um, what's the point of the YouTube? And the answer is for the community, for the players, so we get more players. If you stripped away the YouTube entirely and said no more of that, but the people still join the server, I would not care. Frankly, I might even be a little bit happy because that means I don't have to put effort into videos. If I can just get players to join magically through whatever it is, I would not start another channel. Well, I might do that to get more players, but I would frankly not be that pissed about it. The one thing I do that is actually just straight up for me personally and nobody else, but is very selfish, is the Patreon. Um, and that is just for the money. To be honest, I'm not gonna hide it with some, oh, it's some people who might not have the means to make a tank and still have access to good tanks, good schematics. It's really not. That's not the point. If that's a benefit, then great, sure, whatever. People can have good tanks, but that's not the point. But it costs me no effort. It affects nobody. You don't have to buy it. You definitely do not have to buy it. There is no world in which you have to buy it to make a good tank, obviously. And so I think that's perfectly fine. Anyway, this town is pretty much done. I still do, as time close the true, I still do a bunch of deco work. But I hope you enjoyed, quote unquote. It's an absolute shit show of a video. Just some stuff I want to talk about. Because I have nowhere else to say it, nowhere else to dump this stuff. But I just wanted to put it out somewhere at least. So there you go. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.